Hi everybody.
Hi everybody, welcome to the Growth Academy 108.
108,
That's-
Growth Academy.
108, so if you're looking for us, there's a lot of growth academies out there. We didn't know that. We looked online, and what's a good name for our YouTube thing, and
I love Growth Academy.
I love it too. And we put it in there, and it said that, Growth Academy wasn't being used or whatever. But what we didn't realise is that Growth Academy is used a billion times, except for there's a number after it. And so we're Growth Academy 108. If you're ever looking for us, okay? It's a round circle, purple. Anyway, you'd know that now because you're looking at us.
Yeah. So we wanted to talk about a quote from a book. And this book, I mean, you can see lots of YouTubers talking about this book. It's just one of those powerful books. So, Complex PTSD from Surviving to Thriving, Pete Walker. And he talks a lot about trauma. We cannot do justice to trauma in this video. It's only just...
Disclaimer.
We cannot talk about everything related
so
to trauma
vast
today.
and has so many levels. There is no way.
There's an entire book on it, yeah.
There are thousands of books on it. So there's no way Amanda I could do justice on that. What we can talk about today, just briefly, is...
Well, this is from page 47 of his book, and it talks about eating. And he says, he agrees with John Bradshaw that anyone who's had a dysfunctional family has an eating disorder of some kind. And this is the highlighted part that I wanted to read to you. Changing your eating habits is extremely difficult. A client, so Pete Walker's client, left this quote on my waiting room bulletin board. Alcohol and other drug recovery is like dealing with a tiger in a cage. Recovery from eating disorders is like taking the tiger out of the cage 3 times a day and then taking it for a walk.
I can relate to that because every time I go down the street, if I go anywhere near a bakery, actually, my experience with eating and trauma is I was traumatised in one of my jobs. And while I was being traumatised, every day after work, there was a bakery around the corner. I would go to that bakery. And it was a way of literally licking my wounds, so to speak, just for a little while, having a sausage roll and a chocolate eclair with fresh cream. Just for a little while, my happy hormones hopped in, and I was, and I don't know the scientific term,
but
there's
definitely,
another disclaimer.
yeah.
But it actually made me feel
Yes.
good for a while eating those things. So I'd come straight out of work, and I'd feel like that I'd just been, whipped at the post for the entire day, and then I'd go straight to a bakery. And I never did that before. In a happy job, I wouldn't do that, but I did it this job. And I was traumatised with this job, and I did seek food for comfort, and it's a very common thing.
It's such a huge comfort, and you can't just cut food out of your life. So you can give up, drugs and alcohol and just never do them again. You can't do that with food, can you? You have to eat. So 3 times a day, or however many times you eat, if you have, say, smaller meals more often, you have to deal with that thing.
In your face all the time. So I've got a service station across the road, and anytime I get I really want some chocolate, I can cross the road and get it. I don't believe I can get heroin that easy, or LSD that easy, or crack, or mollies, or any of those other things. I don't think that I can get that easily.
You can get it more easily even than alcohol.
Yeah, right. So shops are open, service stations are open 24/7. You know where they are. You can just walk in with a very small amount of money. You can have that ice cream. For a very small amount of money, you can have whatever it is you want to eat. And quite often, you probably notice that food is cheaper. Junk food's cheaper and more readily available than healthy food.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah. Do we want to talk about? We can't talk about fully trauma, but do we want to talk a little bit about trauma?
Yeah.
Or do we want to just focus on?
Sure. Why don't we use a sample of trauma and how that? I mean, my being bullied in my workplace caused me to go there and find. I didn't know what it was the thing that it was going to be. I didn't know that first of all, I didn't know that I was going to be traumatised in this new workplace. Okay, I didn't know that. And second of all, because I've never been traumatised in the workplace before, I didn't know how I was going to react to it. So, you know, being traumatised and then going to the bakery was just something that I didn't actually consciously think about. I just started doing that. I just started doing that because that's where I found comfort for a brief time. I mean, other people will, you know, just do alcohol or do drugs or do all these other things. I mean, how do you pick it? I mean, how do you know what's going to be your Band-Aid? Because it really is a Band-Aid, it doesn't fix it. It's not the antibodies or going into your system and healing your wound and everything. No, it's a Band-Aid, you know, the scar's going to still stay there.
It's a temporary fix.
Yeah, and especially with food being everywhere around us.
It can make things worse in the long term.
Yeah, well, I mean, I can talk about that example. Because I just ate. I went from, in this workplace, I started there at 65 kilos and I come out of there 109 kilos. So, and that was just me isolating myself at home, because that was one of the things that went with it. Was workplace, junk food, you know, or sugar, and then to my home, and then I didn't go out after that. So there was no walking the dog, there was no going out there in case I met any people, right? And so 109 kilos, like 40 odd kilos later, and there I was, you know.
So that clearly shows
my knees.
If you did it once a
my
year,
skin.
it's okay. But if it's often, if it's 2 times a week, which then becomes 3 times a week, you know, and you're so stressed that you're doing it more and more often.
I worked 5 days a week, so five times a week I was eating a sausage roll and a cream cake straight after work. And this is the thing, and it caused my knees to start buckling. My legs started buckling under me, my knees started going, my skin started getting poorly, but a lot of this was stress as well.
Yep.
Like with the stress, my body started breaking down, the trauma started breaking my body down, so there was a number of injuries that came after that. But what else? What do you want to say? You know about this too, trauma and eating disorders. That's my example that I've experienced.
This book, he talks about harm minimization, because he talks about the opposite extreme that you briefly mentioned earlier before we started recording. Excuse me. That was which I remember doing as like a 12-year-old, 13-year-old. I thought I was fat. I wasn't fat. And going so hard. The opposite. I've got like, I'm just going to drink of water. Are you going to offer me water?
Yeah.
That's so kind
of course. That's what you do for your friends. Oh, you've got to have friends. La 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 la. Friends.
Is this your elevator music?
Oh, you've got to have all you gone.
Add that to the blooper roll.
That was my rendition of Friends, written by Bette Midler and sung by Bette Midler in an extraordinary way. That was my very sad.
Anyway.
I'm listening. Go on.
But the super diet, the super strict, super intense, you know, measure your food down to the nearest gram and you know, I think harm minimization is the better option. You know.
So you're saying that the key to a healthy body is in that book? You can find it?
He mentions it briefly, because with trauma, like, yes, there's eating disorders, but there's a whole stack of other stuff.
I want to talk about diet now.
Yeah.
I want to say that all the diets that's out there, take no notice. Don't do it. Don't go there. Do not go on. There's another treadmill for you. I talked about the treadmill, you know, having to earn money because you've got to pay the mortgage or the rent, and it goes round and round, you can't get off. It's really freaking hard to get off that treadmill. Okay, once you start going on that roller coaster, I'm dieting, then you lose 2 kilos, gain 4. You know, once you get on that treadmill, it's really fucking simple. I swear to you, I mean, I've had a dietitian, I had it for years. Come out of that 109 kilos to come to where I am now. I've had to work with some really good dietitians, and they gave me a plate, protein, half the plate. So think of a sandwich plate, put half of it protein, and then put a third of the other half, make sure it's vegetables or salad, and then your carbs is 1/3. So 2/3 salad of that half, 2/3 of that half salad or vegetables, and 1/3 of it a carb, and then the other half of that plate is all protein. Just do that. That's it. It's all you need is a balanced. It just needs to be balanced. The carbs will try and avoid sugar where you can. That's the other tip. And the other tip is small amounts of carbs. The carbs need to reflect the exercise that you do. Have as many vegetables as you like, because all you're doing is fill up your body with goodness. It's like, it is premium fuel. It is the air that you breathe, if you're breathing it out in the jungle rather than in a smog of the city of Bangkok, okay? So the vegetables are the air that you breathe, and the protein will keep you full and satisfied. The protein keeps you full and satisfied. The vegetables, clean food, that's the fuel that keeps your body sizzling, buzzing with energy and health. And the carbs is for energy, but you don't have more energy than you give out. If you only walk once a day, then have that many carbs. And keep your meals small. Chips, potato chips, which I absolutely love, and it's a go-to food, and I'm thinking about having them later, right? My dietitian calls them slider food. There's absolutely no nutritional value to them whatsoever. They go straight in your mouth and straight on your hips. Slide straight in and on.
Food.
Does nothing. It's straight into your fat cells. That's where it goes. Straight there. Same with sugar. Straight into your fat cells. And your fat cells get bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger, and you get cellulite and you get all that other shit going on. Just stick to that sandwich-sized plate. Just make sure half of it's protein, 2/3 of the other half is vegetables, and have as much carbs as you exercise. That's all you need to know. There's one other thing that Amanda keeps pumping me with.
I was thinking of it.
What is it?
It's drinking water, because water can flush all the toxins out of your body. The excess fat that you might have released when you're exercising, it flushes that out of your body and keeps your skin nice and clear. Inhibits your hunger.
Keeps you feeling full.
Most of the times when you think you're hungry, you're probably thirsty. So have a sip of water, wait 5 minutes, see what happens. Have you ever had that thing where you go, I'll just have a sip of water, and then you
Chug it.
You think, where did that half a bottle of water go? Your body needed it.
And I'm going to tell you too, if you don't have enough water in your system, as you get older, you'll find it harder to do number 2. I'm just letting you know now. And but
so it
water,
also helps you poo.
It does. And the other thing too is you'll get tired without it, really tired without it. You won't notice it when you're young, okay, but most likely you won't. I don't remember that, because young for me was so far away long ago that I can't remember what it was like. But I do know this, that if I don't have enough water, it affects my bowel habits, and it makes me tired. If I haven't got enough water in a day, I'm tired. All I want to do is sleep in the afternoon, because I haven't had any enough water that morning. And then the next day I wake up dehydrated and I'm still really tired. Okay? So the water is imperative. It is your elixir of life. It is the fountain of youth. It really is those things.
So I love the way you explained about the plate and protein and carbohydrates and
that's all you need to know. Forget all the rest of that shit.
And if after you've finished it you're hungry, wait 5 minutes.
Water.
And you can drink plenty of water.
Water. And you know the other thing my dietitian told me too? And I lost 26 kilos or something.
Yeah, well done.
Yeah, thank you. The other thing that I noticed that she said was, you might chug a heap of water and your stomach's stretching when you're chugging all that water in there. It sits in your stomach and it stretches your stomach. The more you stretch your stomach, the fuller you're going to get. So they always say, don't eat until you're full. Eat, just come back a little bit from being full. So that's why the sandwich size plate, okay? Because if you start eating these big American sized dinner plates and it's overflowing with food, can you imagine the size of your stomach if you've got to eat that? And if you eat that until you're full, when you're full, you've just stretched your stomach again. So you're going to be hungrier again the next time, and that plate's going to get bigger and bigger and bigger. Now,
So you want to be 80% full.
You want to be 80% full, even 90%. Just don't stretch your stomach. Don't be full like, oh fuck, I ate too much. Oh,
Like
flip, I ate
Christmas.
too much.
Like Christmas Day. Oh,
Yeah, if you can try
I'm in pain.
Yeah, just hold back a little bit. And the other thing is to try to drink water half an hour before and half an hour after. That's what she told me, but I find that to be the most difficult thing. Try not to drink with your food. I go out for dinner and I love a glass of wine with my food. Helps it go down, but I guess with a glass of wine you're just sipping. Wine's full of sugar too, but look, I would have to give up everything to get my weight back down to when I was a young lady, okay? I'd have to just give up practically everything, just eat salad and protein, stick with that plate, no wine. When I was young, I exercised enough to I'd eat chocolate, chopped milk, I'd be able to have potato chips, like hot chips and fish and chips every Friday night. Could eat anything and everything. I stayed size 10. I was fit as a fiddle, and I could. But as you get older, now, if you're young now and you're eating anything and you're staying a size 10, listen, let me tell you something. Do yourself a favour, and as you get older, reduce the amount that you eat if your exercise is reducing as well. Okay, if you're not burning it off, then reduce what you're eating. Just do yourself a favour so you don't end up, massive and have a problem when you're a bit older, because you're still eating the same way as you were when you were young.
Yep.
But you're not exercising the same way anymore.
Yeah.
Okay, you've got to make that adjustment.
That balance isn't right. Yeah.
Mm,
So we wish you well.
we
I
do.
like ending on a positive note.
Absolutely.
It's lovely.
Love yourself, love everything
yourself.
around you, keep the negative at bay, just,
Mhm.
just keep it at bay, keep it away,
Drink your water.
And remember, stay in the now and drink your water.
I
Be
like it.
here now,
Be here now.
be here now and drink your water.
Okay.
Bye for now.
Bye.
See ya.